निजाम हस्ती चला रहा है, वही खुदा है। दिखाई भी जो न दे नजर भी जो आ रहा है, वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है।
We apologize and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and save us from the trickeries of shaitan and our own evil self, and maybe because of my evil deeds this is happening. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me and forgive my evil sins that I have committed throughout the day and night, and hopefully we can all benefit inshallah. So we were talking about the retreats. It's about the objective is to see and taste. That's what we're going on about, and we explained that this retreat is more about spiritual accountability, that getting a hisab kitab in order, and to see which or what are the obstacles that's hindering us, and so that we can address this. Inshallah, tomorrow's session where Ustaz Usman will be addressing how we can address it and how we can actually bring balance to it. So objective is obviously with everything, irrespective the course of purification, the ascension that you do in everything is purely for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His closeness. But more importantly is to strengthen our iman, because I've mentioned that seeing is believing. What the Asif said is that seeing is believing, that the more that we see, our iman, our yaqeen should be increasing, and therefore is getting stronger. Learn to experience that which cannot be obtained through books. So everything that you read about Jannat, about Jahannam, about Barzakh, about punishment of the grave, and so on, you are now experiencing it. You will be experiencing it. Experience different types of salah. So different stations, different maqamats that you can go to, that then the khushu and khudu and salah will be of different level as well. Now when we talk about this, coming to remind me about if I don't mention experience that cannot be obtained through books, remind me that about this point later, okay? If I don't mention it in the obstacles. So here objective is to see and taste. That's the objective. What's happened, we are like, now what I want you to do is that throughout the retreat, whatever exercise you're going to be doing, whatever you know, including perennials here, whatever you know, it's very hard for perennials, but perennials here who've been through these retreats before, the sisters who are listening as well, is that you probably heard about this, you know about it. What I want you to do for now is pretend as if that you know nothing. Be empty, completely empty. In any places if you want to benefit, is be an empty vessel. Be empty, completely be empty, and just focus on what's been on the task that will be given to you, and that way you'll benefit. So whatever ideas, thoughts that you had, oh, I thought it was like this, and I thought it was like that. I thought finish. Now finish it. I think I won't. No, finish it. Just have the intention, right intention for the sake of Allah. So you're doing this so that you can taste and experience and so on, and be like an empty vessel. Focus on what is now, what we're going to be doing these days. All right. Don't worry about what has happened or what will happen. You focus on the now. 5 fundamental practices, the 5 amals we'll talk about another time. Don't worry about this. 7 obstacles, that's what we're going to be talking about today. 7 obstacles and a little bit modified. Spiritual centers, inshallah, after Asr Salah, Ustaz Ijaz or somebody else will be doing the Lataif spiritual centers and what they are. I'm not going to, and when we transfer, that is how we're going to actually see and taste. You heard the thing, transfer, see and taste. How we do that, how to facilitate that, through what? Through the different muraqabahs. What are the muraqabahs? I'm literally going through this, don't worry about it. Muraqabah Mi'raj, and we're going to show you Muraqabah, the spiritual ascension, enlightenment, and what there are different maqamats and stations. So you got the prophetic ascension, and then what happened from here, you go all the way to Fajr, from the Masjid Nabawi, then Kaaba, then Masjid Aqsa, first, second, third heaven, etc., etc., Sidr Muntaha, all the way to the different close in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, this is through the ascension, the muraqam of ascension. That's how you're going to taste and experience. Another way to taste and experience is what? Muraqabah dua, which we'll do later. Is it tonight, Dr. Shalom? Muraqabah, yes, after Isha. muraqabah dua. We will do a presentation how to actually communicate and actually make truly a dua with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we can actually taste and experience that as well through muraqabah. Then another spiritual salah. You could say the mi'raj of every salah is a mi'raj of a believer. How do we have uruj? How can ascend to the heavens and different places and maqamats? The Prophet that described the salah, how we can do that. We will learn how to do that as well. That will be tomorrow inshallah. And then Muraqabah Muhammadiyah, I don't know if we're going to have time for this, but this is another way where you come to learn through different sessions to come and meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how we can have a meeting with the Prophet ﷺ in the muraqabah, that is a way and technique where we can do that as well. Different muraqabahs, all there. All of this is done what? The reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal, on His power. So for example, imagine now, what's the easiest way for you to understand? Is imagine you have a crane. Okay, you are a crane operator. I don't know, that's a very hard. Let's say you're a I don't know, forklift. Yeah, forklift is good. Everybody knows a forklift, don't you? Yeah, forklift. You all understand forklift, isn't it? Yeah. So you have 1 ton in front of you. No chance you'll be able to lift it. You can't lift it, can you? But what you do is that you say, I don't have the ability. I can't lift it. So what are you using? You're going to use the energy of the forklift to lift it. But if my job is to move this thing from here to there, I haven't really moved it. It's the forklift that's done it, isn't it? But I've carried out my job. You understand? So there's a pallet. It has 1 ton of material. Let's say 500 kgs of items, whatever. And my job is to move this pallet from here to the shelf here. Okay? That's my job. But what I'm doing is that I'm not doing it. I use the forklift, use the energy of the forklift, lift it up, take it to the shelf, and then place it there. My job is done, and I get wages for it. No similitude we can do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but just so you understand is that we as servants, really we have no abilities. We have no strength, no abilities really whatsoever. It's only whatever strength that He has given us, and then using His power, His fazal, His grace, by utilizing and relying on Him, is as if using the lift of the energy of the forklift, that whatever that boulders that I was talking about, the obstacles that I was saying, is that those obstacles become obsolete. They crush, there's nothing there. What happened? Oh, my servant, that's not an obstacle here. I take you over it. I take you around it. I crush it for you. It's not there anymore. Why? When I rely on Him and His power. So that's why some people, you can see all these different criteria. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And some people may be the worst of the worst, which is what I am, but worst of the worst, not doing ibadah, not doing worship. They come for one night, but they're sincere. And they do tawbah, and they rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They start experiencing such things that people who've been here for retreats after retreats are not experiencing. Why? It's because they understood that I rely on Allah subhanahu, not on me. It's easy for them. Why is it easy? Why is it easy? There's one quality that person who is a sinner, who is sinful, one quality that they have. Why is it easy for them? Ramadan, why is it easy for them? Why do you think it's easy? They didn't do, okay, they didn't do it. Brother, what do you think is easy for them? In one way, it's easy. They have one quality. Sincerity, that's true, but something else. They know they're wrong. You're there, you're getting there. Go on, Rafiq. They rely on Allah. True, they rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why they relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Imran, why they relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Really, imagine a really sinful person who's come into the masjid, saying to the retreat. Now what happens is that he follows the instruction, but he relies on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, but he has this experience. Whereas a person who's been coming to maybe years during the course of purification, come for years, he's saying, I don't know if it's imagination, if it's this, if it's that, he's hindering his borderline, etc. He doesn't know if he's transferred, not transferred. But this person, he's going to meet different prophets. What has happened to him? Why is it one thing that he's done maybe that has actually helped? He repented, it's true. By repenting, what is that state that he's in? Submission, you're nearly there. Humbleness. He knows I am zero. What I keep on telling myself is that think that you're zero, you're nothing. He knows I am such a sinful person. These people are good, they're better than me. These people know more than me. They are more advanced than me. I am nothing. But in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is my servant. This is how I want you to be. That person who's been here for years and years and years, oh, I am this, I am that, I should know, I should not know, I know more, etc. So I should be this. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can see he has a little bit of what self-likeness there. He's not relying, he's relying on his deeds, he's relying on his knowledge, he's relying on his wisdom, he's relying upon himself. This person says, I have nothing. I have nothing. I can't see, I can't walk, I can't do anything. These brothers and sisters are so advanced. So he said, Ya Rabbal Alamin, you take me. This person is totally relied on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other person might have partially relied. This person totally submitted. The other person thinking, I also know a bit more. You see the difference? Hence why what's happening is that if I now, for example, let's go back to the forklift situation. You're not getting bored, are you? Otherwise I have to move on quickly. Okay, forklift situation again. Now what's happening is that, this is the scenario to understand. He's lifted it up a little bit, then goes, right, okay, let's see if I can lift it. Let me try and lift it. I am strong. I go to the gym 5 times a week. I lift 100 kgs every day. I should be strong enough to do this. Come on, let's try it. He's going to get nowhere. Sometimes you may be able to lift a little bit, maybe to the side, and that's it. Then he goes, okay, that was silly of me. Let's get back to the forklift. And that's what happens. Spiritually, they realize, what am I doing? I've done nothing. Then they go, Ya Rabbal Alamin, please forgive me. I should rely on you. And that's when they excel again. It happens. So it's easier for that person who's actually like this. That's why you hear many times that person come one day and you hear that person and say, oh, he's achieved such high thing, and we're thinking, what happened there? It's because he's relied fully on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's humbled himself towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the other person is still using the intellect, still using their deeds, still using their mind, still using their heart, and thinking, no, I actually know better. No, I should be. Expectation should be. We are nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Almighty, He is Wahidul Qahar. He doesn't need anyone and He doesn't need us whatsoever. So reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other thing is focus on the teacher. Focusing. In other words, is that you are using the spiritual affairs of the teacher to help you to get through it, not on your own self. We'll discuss it there. So there's Muraqabah Muhammadiyah, which we won't have time, I don't think, in this retreat these days. But another time, inshallah, we'll do a separate occasion. So you have these different Muraqabah, and then you experience through what? Jannah, Jahannam, Barzakh, all these different and many more. You experience and live the seerah. You experience and see Jannah. You experience and see the Barzakh. Meet different personalities. You see Jahannam and different maqamats and different stations through these different Muraqabats. Okay? That's what happens. Main guide and teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, a little bit about them. This is not exhaustive. The physical family lineage goes all the way back. The blood lineage goes all the way back to Imam Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah. Okay, so that's the physical lineage, not their blood lineage. They are descendants of Sayyidina Imam Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah, whom we visited 2 years back. They are a scholar in their own right. And I can tell you, not just this is the humbleness of their own selves, that I say this many times, and I fathom on the fact that our brothers and sisters sometimes, it is completely up to yourself, and everybody's have their own opinions and whatever they wish. But I do loathe the fact that when I see brothers and sisters, and this, please do not take this as a criticism, okay? Do not take this as a criticism, and don't take this as a thing. It's just my own self opinion. That they'll talk highly of another scholar. Oh, he's got such knowledge on this, and he's got such knowledge on this, he's got such knowledge on this. And I'm here thinking, if you were to know the knowledge and understanding that this person Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh has, you would be at their feet and beg them just to teach you one word or one thing. Because even that one word, one thing they'll teach you is with totality, not partially. Such clarity, such understanding, no confusion whatsoever. Now, not just in tazkiyah, not just in part of purification, but I'm telling you, there's special science of aqidah, there's special science of fiqh, there's special science of hadith, they have ijazah in all of these three things and more. They have ijazah. Many times, I've also said is that many times when alim scholars, they graduate from madrasa, they come with one ijazah, one certificate. Yeah, one ijazah, saying he's got ijazah to teach whatever he's learned, such and such, and the ustaz give them the sanad. They have 50 different, and now I think it's more. At the time that I heard is that they had 50 different ijazah and sanads in different fields. 12 alone in the science of hadith. Science of hadith. Tareeqahs, ijazah, and so, which tariqah do you want me to mention? In the Naqshbandi silsila, they have ijazah and they can take you through the Naqshbandi silsila. In half a day, they complete the whole suluk. Half a day. Darqa always Shazli tariqah, you want to go through that? Qadri says you want to go through that. Chishtiya, you want to go through that. Shahrwadiya, you want to go through that. Through the blood lineages, the Shahrwadi tariqah they've actually got. And the Chishtiya also they got. So this is not an ordinary person that I'm trying to say. That this is the people that read about the likes of Sayyidina Qadir Jilani in the books. These are the type of people I'm talking about here. I'm not just saying because, oh, this is our teacher, I'm like every single student will do this. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible to tell you is that, listen, there are certain things that if you were to know, you would be exhausted and haran. And why? My dalil is, I'm telling you, go around to the Mufti Ikram around the world and they're exhausted and they are flabbergasted as to how much of understanding this person has. Flabbergasted. The most difficult questions that me and you can't even understand the question, the scholars will come with. And I'm just telling you, like Shibir Hassan, he's there, he will also verify as well. And our Mufti Ikram in Trinidad and Tobago, the main Grand Mufti in Trinidad, they were asking these questions and thinking, yeah, how's this up? And alhamdulillah, such a beautiful brothers, the beautiful scholars, truthful Mufti. They started presenting, saying that this person is just another scholar. We will show. We are Al-Azharis, we are this, we will show in our status and our understanding. I'm not boring you, I'm just telling you about this story, then we'll move on. So what happened, they came, and that night, luckily we were just sat down, we were just like this, we didn't understanding what they're saying. They started at Isha, they carried all the way to Tahajjud, to Fajr, after Fajr, they continued after Fajr, and they were mesmerized. Haran. They said, we've never heard anybody explaining these sort of things, these difficult questions that we just presented to, that were written in books and scholars, different opinions. Never heard anyone explain it, and the detail in which they explained it, we never heard anything like that. They were mesmerized. First they thought they were better, then they were at the feet saying, please teach us. Please teach us. Muftis I'm talking about, the Grand Mufti of Trinidad and Tobago. Please teach us. And they'll tell you this happily. Why? When you are truthful and you know above every single learned person that somebody more learned. Keeps you humble. But I am telling you, this is such a person who has such knowledge in all the sciences. On a personal note, I don't really want to take my personal thinking. There are certain mas'alas that I find difficulty when I hear from other scholars giving. I don't find aram, and then I go to them and say, I normally accept. I'm a person who, whoever scholars will say, I accept. I don't think seldom I'll think, I'm a bit thinking of this. But sometimes somebody gives a masala, I don't feel haram, and then I go to them and then they explain it. I am haram because I'm thinking, how have they been able to explain it? And my heart finds peace in that. My heart doesn't find peace in the way that others have explained it. And that is what you'll find with Shaykh Muhammad, is that whatever they'll say, whatever they speak, the advice they give you is peace, is serenity, is clarity, it's focus, it's a drive, it's an energy, just by them speaking. And then there's another unique benefit is that they don't need to speak. Just by looking at them, there's a calmness, there's beauty, there's light. And I don't want to carry on, we'll just move it. What I'm trying to say here is this is not an ordinary person. This is not an ordinary being that you're actually... If I was to say, listen, for one day, if I say, look, Sayyidina Qadir Jilani has made a presence here, I'm just saying, imagine, yeah? Imagine, we created a portal here, there you go, and then, boom, Sayyidina Qadir Jilani is here. And they said, brothers, we've got a miracle, we've got a karamat, yes, Sayyidina Ghaus Pak is here, come and meet them. You'll see the whole world be flocking around to come to meet them. Isn't it? That's what they'll do. They say, oh, we want to meet them, we heard about so much stories about them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not short of such people, but the hidden gems. Those will be the hidden. And this is such a person who's a hidden gem. If not even a gem, more than a gem really. Like Ibn Atala Sikandar Rahmullah, when he did an explanation of Qasida Ra, he said, when you meet such a person, who is acquainted with the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who can guide you to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has no malice in wanting worldly benefit and gains with you, his relation is solely that he will train you and teach you and guide you to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, teach you and educate you and nurture you. Do not leave their feet until he's perfected you. Weep at their feet and do not leave their feet until he has perfected you. Because such a companion is hard to find. And you got to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did me and you to do to deserve such a person in this time, in this age, to be being granted access to such a being? It's of pure fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do fadl of this and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this grace. Luminary in the science of Tazkiyah, practicals and traversing to the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Current works, there are a number of institutes across the UK, international dawah in Malaysia, in USA, Morocco, South Africa, Jerusalem, they go and travel. But obviously they're the director and principal of Wise Life Academy, and they have Jamia, the UK Academy of Islamic Sciences, they're the principal of that, which is established throughout the UK as well as Denmark, America, Morocco, Canada, and so on and so forth. So it's spreading, but if these works will continue to spread, but if me and yourself do not take benefit of such a person and such works and such endeavors of this personality, we are definitely deprived people. And this is just to show you who they are. This is for those of you who've never met them, is to show you who they are, and also so that when we say transfer and find the teacher, you know what to look for, how they look like. So it's not like as if we're in blank space and we don't know how they look like. Alhamdulillah, we can utilize modern technology for us to help you with that. 7 major obstacles. We're at 5:30, so I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. 7 obstacles, what they are. A lot of you who've been to retreats, you know them already. So I'm just going to pinpoint a few of them and then hopefully we'll finish. Body, mind, heart and soul relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal. That could be an obstacle. Is that through your body, through your mind, through your heart, through your nafs, are they creating obstacles for you and hindering you? Are you disobeying Allah through these things to actually get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Spiritual relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Major life problems distracting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unlawful wealth distracting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Marital problems which may be distracting from Allah Azza wa Jal. Relationship with parents and siblings and colleagues and other creation. And the submission to the teacher. So don't worry about the numbers. These are 7 obstacles, the generic. We'll try and go through individually one by one as much as possible. So body, mind and spirit, you can say body, mind and soul. What you should be asking yourself, those people say, today I was doing exercise, I was doing the Lataif cleansing and I saw nothing. I felt nothing. Oh, but then there was this color, maybe a green color, or maybe a red color, or maybe I saw this, maybe a blue color, light blue color, all these. They mean something. Don't worry about that. What I'm trying to say is that instead of focusing on those, ask yourself is, am I disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the sensual organs of the body, to the eyes, to the ears, to the tongue, hands, feet, private stomach? Am I disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through them? I got to ask myself this question. Am I utilizing these organs of the body that Allah has given me? Am I utilizing in the obedience of Allah or the disobedience of Allah? Likewise, with the mind, how am I utilizing the mind? What is my mind doing? Is it thinking of sin? Is it thinking of disobedience? Is it thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it thinking of Jannat? Is it being aware of Allah, presence of Allah, or not? Similarly with the heart, am I disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the heart? Have I got jealousy, hatred, animosity, envy, and so on and so on? Does my heart disobey creation? Is it content? Is it not content? And so on. So you got to ask yourself these issues. Now you might be saying, yes, I have all these problems. So what is the issue? Do the course of purification. Do it properly. That's the solution. But solution to all of these things will be given tomorrow. So am I disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the organs of the body, with the mind and heart? That's what you should be asking. What level, what level of yaqeen do you have with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command? Should be what, not why. Is it ilmul yaqeen, aqlul yaqeen, qalbul yaqeen? So aynul yaqeen, nafsul yaqeen. Don't worry about these things. I'm not going to into detail. What level of yaqeen do I have towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Major life problems distracting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There may be, for example, an issue, a problem, land, monies and so on, land issue. Maybe a civil matter issue, maybe there's a business issue and so on and so on. Something in life which is, maybe it's just, I don't know, a psychological issue, whatever it is. Something is distracting you from life issues, is hindering you. And for you singletons out there, and it can be as well, don't get upset and think it, but it can be. Some people are lonely and they want to get married and they can't find a spouse. That becomes an issue. That becomes a problem. They get depressed. So it can become an issue. So it shouldn't be a major issue, but inshallah, but it can happen. The major life issues are affecting you to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They want to find somebody. But for some reason, it's not happening. They're not understanding. And like I said before, there is nothing that is happening to you which is not khair and goodness for you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always wants goodness for me and you. There is wisdom there, but our mind, akal and intellect is not acquainted to understand what that's happening. Sometimes the obstacle could be unlawful wealth distracting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you earning or spending your wealth lawfully or unlawfully? That could be a hindrance. That could be an obstacle for you. You accumulating wealth. Nowadays, I was speaking to somebody this week, 12, 13-year-olds. They're richer than me and you. They're wealthier than me and you. The thing is that it throws the education system into disrespect and disrepute as well. That person goes away, educates, studies in college, then university, gets a graduate position, works as a sales folk, is on maybe £20,000 a year. This person selling drugs, 13-year-olds, is earning £30,000 a year. He's 14. He's 13. Now, if the youngsters are seeing this, wait a minute, he is earning this, he's earning £500 a week or £1,000 a week, whatever, why do I want to educate? Why go to the route of education? Why go to the route of thinking, I want quick money, I want a quick car, quick house, I can have this whilst I'm 14, 15, and this bichara, he's 40, getting a white beard, and he still can't even afford a house. He's still driving a banga, as they say. He's still actually doing this. He's having. So why would that child want to actually go to his education? Why? But the thing is, you have to see is that earning halal may be less, but there's barakah and blessing in it. And earning halal may not give you instant satisfaction, but there is satisfaction. There is peace and there is tranquility in earning halal. Whereas earning haram, there'll never be any barakah in there. Never. There's no peace in there. There's no sakina in there. And only what happens is troubles follows you, unfortunately. Whether it's trouble in terms of gangsters, trouble in forms of police, trouble in form of bailiffs, trouble in form of other things, courts and so on. You're never at ease. How can there be ease? If you are breaking the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're disobeying Him, how can you have ease and peace? How can you? It cannot be. So you got to now see is, am I earning lawfully or am I spending unlawfully as well? Spending, in other words, are you gambling with it? Are you spending the money on drugs? Are you spending money on alcohol? Are you spending money on other things which Allah said don't spend on? Are you doing that? So that can be a hindrance. But with all of these things, marital problems, sometimes for those of you who are singletons, now when you become married, then it's a problem as well. You're never free out. I don't know any relationship. I do not know of any. Every single one of you would tell you is that those of you who are married, sisters also listen carefully, is that we have this dream of wanting a partner. We have this dream. Yes, I want a partner. I want a partner. And then when you're married after about a year or so, oh dear, it was so good when I was young. When I was single, it was so nice. It was so good. Yes, there has positivity and there's negativity. It's because our whole illusion and whole concept of marriage was wrong at the beginning. And that's why the beautiful discourses that Shaykh Ahmad Dabab is doing for the past weeks, the 7 or so, 8 or so discourses regarding marriage. If you were to listen to this, you would have never heard these things before in your life, and how they're explaining it, the concept, or how our mindsets are. If only we had this at the beginning, that when we get married, then these issues which is cropping up now, which is irritating us and biting us and nibbling us, and you're thinking, God, I just want to get out of the house, those issues might not have come because we didn't understand the concept and understand the issues of marriage, what they are. Nobody taught us, nobody explained it to us. Is our problem, our weakness as well. So people have marital issues. That is distracting them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wife is telling you, now that the lockdown's over, you've had 3 months of not taking me out, I want you to take me out now, come on. I said, first thing that they did, there's the park, look, other people are going. I honestly, sometimes I feel so upset when I see other people sending images. Oh, look, family has gone to the park. Why, take me to the park? Look, they're going to the park. They're going here, and you think, why this? Why? They know I'm busy. Why do they understand? So it can happen. What happens is that these are issues that people go through daily life, but unfortunately, those big things can actually distract you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It can distract you, depress you, make you upset, demotivate you, and then it becomes an obstacle for you. Relation with parents and siblings, and this is a family feuds. Brother fighting with the brother, father and son, sister and sister, friends falling out, colleagues that try to do you in and so on, take your position. So on, all these things can happen. But is it hindering you in your journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That can be an obstacle as well. And lastly, submission to the teacher. Focus on the teacher fully. Now here is what I really want to actually go into. Are you still okay? Are you still good? Yeah? Imran's good, he's good, mashallah. I don't know what you are. We'll have some of that at iftari time. Yes, Imran, we're going to have that. Okay. So Imran's buzzing, he's good, he's all right. So basically is that this is the thing which I really want to focus on today. Out of all of this, yes, you've got your course, do your course. If you're not doing your course, that's the issue. For those who are saying, I'm not going anywhere, I've been doing this ascension for a year or so, are you taking your sheet? No, that's the issue. Are you following are you doing your dhikr, azkar, and muraqabah? No, that's the issue. Are you actually following the instruction that you're meant to give you? No, that's your issue, that's your obstacle. That's what you're not seeing, you're not experiencing, you're not getting further. So here already you can see, okay, how are you actually practicing the level of prayer, of sincerity and so on? No, that's your issue. That'll be the problem, that'll be the situation. These other issues with parents, relationship problem, marital problem, parental problem, siblings, colleagues, business, wealth, health, all of these things can be cured through one way. What is it? Salatul Hajat. Pray Salatul Hajat, through Salatul Hajat. Keep on praying. Ask Allah to alleviate you from this problem, difficulty, and whoever will turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will find a way for him to get to doors and avenues that you could not even understand and imagine. You have a debt, mountain of debt, you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fear Him, turn to Him, relying on Him, He will take that debt away from you. You couldn't imagine. You thought, this is impossible, how did that happen? Condition is following Him, obedient towards Him, and relying upon Him. And Salatul Hajat is exemplifying all of that. Hajat is a need, and you humble yourself towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then open doors for you. So all of these problems that we discussed, barring the first one, which is the cause of purification in spiritual relationship, everything else is Salatul Hajat. This one, submission to the teacher, that is what we're going to try and actually focus. Focus on the teacher fully, following his teaching, guidance and instructions wholeheartedly, love to be in his company, respect him with one to the heart's core. Now, what do I mean by that? I think important. In any journey, people are in need of a guide. Okay? If you've never been to London, your guide is TomTom. Or shall we say sat-nav? We can't say TomTom, they're out to business now, aren't they? So we have to say sat-nav. Okay? GPS system or a sat-nav. You follow the sat-nav. If you've never been, you follow that. Or you go with somebody who's been, who knows the routes, who knows the signs, who knows the direction. You go. So your murshid, your guide is the sat-nav or the phone. And then you either use him, you fully submit to him. If you don't, you could take the wrong turn and you can end up going all the way to Scotland. If you say, oh no, this doesn't look right, it doesn't look right there, I think I should take a left turn here. There you go. And you could be going all the complete opposite direction. Even with the sat-nav, you have to submit. Unfortunately, sometimes it can take you to... And now what's the difference between a Kamil Sheikh, a Kamil guide, a guide who's actually traversed, and a guide who hasn't? What's the difference? It's like that sat-nav that takes you to the end pit, where it's the end of the road and there's a pit there. Unfortunately, there's a danger and you just followed him wholeheartedly. Nothing wrong with you, but unfortunately the person was not Kamil and you end up in a ditch. But that Kamil Sheikh is the one who takes you to the destination, exactly brings you right outside the house and says, you've reached your destination. That is the difference between a Kamil Sheikh. He knows exactly where you are, at what point you are, and they take you by the hand and take you to your destination. Here you go, you've reached your destination. You could say a fake peer or a not acquainted, a person who hasn't traversed, who's not ready, who hasn't traversed fully. What they'll do eventually, you follow, it looks right, and then all of a sudden they do a detour. Unfortunately, they don't know what happened there, and it takes a detour. You go, hey, you even start thinking, you start questioning a little bit, this doesn't look right here, are you sure? And then the wife starts saying, are you sure you're going the right way? Yeah, and are you going the right way? Yeah. And you go, yeah, look, the navigation's telling me to go that way, that's what I'm doing, I'm following the navigation. Are you sure? And everybody's telling you, are you sure you're supposed to be following? It doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound according to Sharia and Sunnah, you know, it doesn't look right. But yeah, he's a guide, and what happens? You're in a ditch. And that's it, what happens? And then he said, forget the TomTom, use my akal, whatever knowledge you have, that you know what a guide is supposed to have. What happens? You get the good Ummah, get to the books of Tasawwuf, Tazkiyah, what the guide is supposed to be, then that guides you by. You get the map open, you see where you are, you see the route, and you drive yourself back onto the route, and then you follow the true guidance. What do? You open the map up, don't you? Or you get the map open and you say, okay, where is my route? And that map is like basically the teachings of the Mashayikh, of the pious, the true scholars, the rightly guided pious predecessors. You open their teachings and you see this is how it's supposed to be, and you follow the asr. That's how it is. And you'll get guided. And the real Kamil Sheikh will always be following those teachings. That is what it is. So here, a guide, you need a guide whenever you go. So a guide is who can show you places which you've never been, or people use their tour guide to take you to places they want to know more about, or they haven't been before. What to say about a spiritual world whereby one has never been and yet discovered? Of course you need a guide there. If you start saying, oh, what is this, or what is this, or what is this, you're going to be bewildered. So you need the guide. Spiritual guide is there to show you the different maqamas and stations and to help you through the journey. Hence why those people say, oh, I was doing the Lataif cleansing and then I became blank. I couldn't see the Shaykh, I couldn't see the guide. You can't see the Shaykh. Sometimes what it is that you are not relying on trying to find the Shaykh. You think you're independent. That is a problem. That is the issue. Submission again. Submit, find the teacher, and using the affairs of the teacher to then take you to the different places. There are many different places, dangerous places in this world where the tour guide can save you from dangerous people, the dangerous places and creatures which exist. The guide should know where to go and where not to go. The guide will know. This is a camel guide, a true guide. They should know the safety protocols and this evacuation of dangers for the seeker. The guide who is authorized is well equipped to take anyone on a safe journey. Hence why a lot of the times, some people are also the case that they come to us, they want to sit the retreats, and unfortunately maybe they have a guide who's not qualified as such. When I say qualified, I mean that they're not acquainted with this, nor they've reached that level of taking you through these levels and stations. So what happens is that they say, oh, I want this, I want to follow this. I'm talking about ascension here, I'm not talking about the journey. I'm talking about, oh, I want to follow this, I want to do this. But what happens is that they go and relate it back to the guide. The other sheikh, that they say, oh no, this is all nonsensical. It's all nonsense. No. Stick to this, do your Durud Sharif, do your wazifa, you'll be fine, you don't need that. The whole thing was that, what did we say at the beginning, what these ascensions about? Is to do what? So see and taste. But why? Why see and taste? What does it do, Ramzan? Your level of iman, level of yakin increases. Because we are so engrossed in the dunya, we are seeing the dunya, feeling the dunya, living the dunya, and it's a tangible thing that we can see it, feel it, live it, breathing it. We have yakin on the dunya and not on the akhirah. And what the whole objective of these retreats is to slowly take you away from the reliance on the dunya and have yakin on that, and to show you the other side, so that it brings balance, so that the pull of the dunya isn't so great, and you're able to remove yourself from the clutches of the dunya, because the pull of akhirah is stronger. Why? Because you're seeing it, you're living it, you're feeling it, you're experiencing it. So now you have a pull. Now they just pull from one side, which is the dunya, is pulling you. But there is another pull coming to the other way. The akhirah will be pulling you, Jannat will be pulling you. Oh, and there's another pull from the opposite end. It slowly brings you out, and then you can have balance. Hope and fear. You have that balance. The best of people are those people who have portion of dunya and portion of akhirah. They're the best of people. From here, from the akhirah, they're portion of akhirah, they're portion of dunya. That's balance. That is the way we want to be. That's the whole objective. So what I'm trying to say, that when the sheikh will say, because he doesn't know, that's why he'll say, this is nonsensical, you shouldn't go there. He is not acquainted, maybe that's the reason why. But the true Shaykh al-Kamil, if he's real guide, if he's a person of insight and has gone through it, he'll say, this is fine, go ahead. He should do. So the key to unlocking all of this, the teacher is the key to accepting as your guide. So that's why we say is that, brothers, sisters, submit to the teacher, accept him as being the key in order for you to actually have access to the spiritual world. Accept him as a guide so that you can be meeting these blessing personalities, and the personality and the family of the Prophet ﷺ and the Prophet himself as well. So he is the key. He is the key to unlock you, to transfer you, to take you through his fairs and through his guidance. You'll be actually getting there. So the moment the seeker, the person who think, I can do this because I'm already a very spiritual person, I'm already a very, very pious person, I do my salah, I do my dhikr, I know brothers and elders, they do thousands and thousands, let's say 10,000 of wird a day. I don't know how, but they do. That's the level of mujahidah. Our tariqah is not like that as such. The beauty of the tariqah, which our beloved teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh and the teacher Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh and others, how they taught us is that it's not about zuhud as such, that you do a lot of mujahidah as such. This tariqah is based on tariqah to shukr, is that whatever little you have, you do shukr of that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you even more. So, in other words, is that a little bit of effort from your side gets you maximum benefit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? It's about quality, and it's about knowing the methodology properly, and that's what gains you access to other riches and treasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Shaykh is the guide, he's the key to opening all of this. So don't think I am the one, I am my abilities, my knowledge, my faculties, my intellect will come. No, forget all that. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the guide, it is He will actually take you. In this world, only selected authorized person can be guided towards of this world, especially the dangerous areas around and grounds that to avoid when you go to any tours throughout the world. Similarly, the teacher has been selected to guide and take people in the presence of the blessed personalities, different mashaykhs, different buzurg, different awliya Allahs. It's through them. Sayyidina Abdul Jabbar, let me also tell you here is that you will never avoid in this tariqah, in this silsila, in this path, the way. Those of you listening at home as well, sisters as well, listen. Is that you are never free from testing of the Shaykh. Never. You are all being, everything, me, yourself, everybody is being tested according to our level by the Shaykh. Okay? They've been spiritually, let me just tell you one thing that maybe hopefully will actually think you. Many a times what will happen is that, like Sayyidina Abdul Jabbar, what they say is that here you're supposed to interact and meet. When you interact and meet these blessed personalities, sometimes the Shaykh wants to see is that how much veneration, how much love goes towards that person. So for example, I will tell you, this is iPhone 7. You're loving it, it's beautiful, absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Then I say, oh look, I've got iPhone 12. It's here. Because you think it's iPhone 12, it's better. It's newer, it's got more features, got thingy. So, but this thing, iPhone 7, enabled you. Again, Apple is not promoting me, just in case you're actually getting wondering why is he talking about Apple again. No, they're not paid me. I'm just giving you an example. Sisters, don't worry. Is that here is that, but it's through this phone you manage to communicate throughout the world. It's through this phone you gain access to different documents and so on, taking images and pictures, your memories through this phone. So for you, your value lies with this phone. For you, this phone has got everything. All your secrets, all your passwords and keywords are there. That phone doesn't have anything. What you can do with the phone is that you can do share. So what will happen is that you can share the stuff from here to this phone and then you get access to other things, isn't it? Yeah? But what happens is when you see the iPhone 12, you think, oh, forget this. This iPhone 12 is beautiful, wonderful. And you give no value whatsoever to this iPhone 7. How do you think iPhone 7 is going to feel? You understand what I'm trying to say here? Is that sometimes what they see is that he proclaims to love me. The student is saying, I love you, you're everything. When I present another personality towards him, his whole attention goes towards that. What happened to that love? What happened to that love? What happened to, you are everything for me, you are this and you are that? He proclaims to be thinking. So, in other words, is that in Al-Ibris, Sayyidina Abdul Jabbar had written this as I said this to the news effect. He said one's relationship with the teacher should be like such. He gave an example to his students, if I recall correctly. You can read in Al-Ibris Sharif. He said to his students, if there were, what would you say if such and such personality, let's say for example there was a buzurg of his time who's passed away. Let's say, I'm just giving an example, let's say Shaykh Abu Madian is present. So I'm just giving an example. This was Sayyidina Abdul Jabbar was saying to the students, just so they understand, so that you can understand as well. They said that, imagine if Shaykh Abu Madian was there present in this gathering. Would you like to meet him? Would you like to go and meet him? They said, yes, of course we'd like to meet him. Shaykh Ahmadiyan, he was a voice of his time, we'd like to meet him. Yeah, of course. What about Imam Shazli? Yes, of course we'd like to meet Imam Shazli. This was the test. Just by them saying that, they failed the test. I'm just telling you now. Why? Because Sayyidina Abdul Jabbar said is that, oh my student, oh my son, if there were 300 of you aligned together, all looking exactly the same, I would not look at any of them apart from you. Because for me, you are unique, you are beautiful, and you are the one that I know the most, and I don't know anybody. My eyes will not even gaze upon any others apart from you. He's given a lesson to the students that you get so overwhelmed by other personalities. If there were 300 other mashayikhs that are present, and sometimes in your vision you see this, you're not realizing you're being tested. But what's happening is you see 300 different mashayikhs, etc., who are there. Now what they're saying is that, do you gaze upon them, or do you just keep your eyes fixated upon your teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh? Do you want to look? Are you curious? Is your heart curious? These are subtleties I'm saying, is that what can happen, that we've been tested but we don't realize. In other words, is that for you, your shaykh is everything. That's why we say to you again and again, if you see and are present with the shaykh, for you that is everything. Because what happens, like the iPhone 12 and iPhone 7, shares, information shared, and it comes to you. Whatever fares or the mashaykh wants to give, it can only come through you, through your shaykh, through the hands of your shaykh, nobody else. And they will share with you. So in this world, like here, is that's what the teacher is a key. Similarly, the teacher has been selected to guide and take people to the presence of these different personalities, blessed personalities, different mashayikhs. That is what they're there for. One must accept the teacher as he's the guide of the spiritual world before one can commence the journey. That's what you have to do. Accept him as a guide. Accept him as the teacher. So instead of thinking, no, I don't know, I've got the teacher. For the purpose of ascension and muraqabah, you have to accept him as your teacher. The guide is the key to meeting blessed personality, because he will be the meeting of the personality. He is the means. If one does not accept the guide, he will not be able to travel in the blessed presence. If you don't accept, that's why, oh, I'm seeing blank, oh, I'm not going anywhere, oh, I can't go further, I'm here and that's it, I can't go further. This is the reason why. This is the problem. It's because you've not really truly submitted or accepted the teacher. It is important that the seeker keeps with the guide throughout the spiritual tour, is that always feel the presence, and if you get lost, if you get thinking, you bring the vision of the teacher again, presence again, always feel the presence of them. If you are doing that, alhamdulillah, you've been safeguarded and you are fine. The seeker shouldn't leave the guide, or he will become lost and unable to find or reach his objective, which is to meet these blessed personalities and see these different maqamats and stations. So in other words, is that at no point, and reality is at no point you do lose. They never leave you, you leave them. So what happens is that you see this wonderful door and you say, wow, this is beautiful, it's so nice. The shaykh is there, instead of saying, Sab, shall we go there, can you take me there, or whatever. What's happened? You just go, like a child sees a candy, runs towards the candy and forgets about the parents. No, always etiquettes. Consider them. If they say, yes, let's go, they'll go. If they say, yes, let's enter here, we'll enter here. You understand? It's about etiquettes. Knowing what to do, how to behave when you're actually there. So make sure that you don't leave them, but you stick with them. So objective of the muraqabah ascension is that to meet the best personality of the spiritual world, to meet the founder of the Prophet ﷺ and also Ahlul Bayt and other personalities. This is so that one can actually return to this world and follow his true teachings and reflect their ways, and to avoid arguments or dispute, but go straight to the source of settled matter. Here, expectations. Ustaz are there under the tutelage of Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, i.e. the mentors and the senior stars and other senior stars. They're there under the supervision of Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, showing you and guiding to the path of Allah, providing the tools to assist you in the journey, including Ainul Yaqeen. So they're there to assist, okay? Expectation from you is commitment, be empty vessel, don't just pass your time, go on the phone, check this out, check the scores out, check this page out, check that page out. No, be serious and try to learn, try to experience, try to adopt, be sincere, be humble, be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah you will then see and taste. Inshallah is bi'idhnillah. So that is some of the obstacles that we discussed. Hopefully it wasn't too boring and I didn't put you to sleep so much. Those are the major obstacles that a person will have throughout the journey. And we also discussed how we can acquire taste, seeing and tasting, experiencing, how we can do that. Inshallah, that will be discussed later on the next session about the Latai presentation. How? Sorry? The book. See, very, very alert. MashaAllah, I said 5 months awake. Okay. Here, Allah says, what I was going to say is that, remember when we talked about experiencing from the books, the thing that you read to experience it. Whatever will happen in your spiritual journey, whatever nasih that you're given, there'll be no addition or omission to the Sharia whatsoever. Be clear. You know, you're meeting the Prophet ﷺ, or you're meeting different prophets, you're meeting different awliyas, etc., etc. They will not tell you anything new to the Sharia whatsoever. Understand that. All they'll do, whatever nasih there is, like you hear in Mullah Mustafa yesterday and others, is that they'll give explanation, further explanation into that matter. Understanding, another way of seeing, another way of understanding, so that it's easy for you to digest. Is that clear? So the books, for example, you read a book of Sayyidina Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah, it says this is this. When you meet them, they'll tell you in an easier form, an easier way, what you can digest and you can understand, or they'll tell you according to how it's written in the books. You understand? So remember there's a golden principle, whatever kashf, whatever vision, whatever inspiration that you have, there can be no addition or omission to the Sharia whatsoever. There can be explanation given, further explanation given. That's one thing that make sure that you understand categorically as a principle. Okay? Anybody have any questions, comments? Please, by my sisters, if you want to ask anything, you can do. Don't bog yourself down on details of certain things. Just understand the things that are focused on, about the teacher, about the course, and the other issues that should be generally intertwined quite easily. I've mentioned that. So hopefully just focus on those things that I said about the teacher mainly.
What if you've got, like you said, some of the obstacles you encounter? You might have like 5 or 6 or 7 different obstacles. Will they be told to you that, look, you need to maybe concentrate on this, or stop this, or don't do that? Or
That's
something you've got to figure out yourself?
if you have a one-to-one, it can be told to you that you need to focus on this and focus on that. A lot of the times you know what those obstacles are. Seldom that you don't. Now that we've gone through it, you know, okay, this is the weakness. But sometimes here in the case of this matter, for example, if you don't know, so for example,
You don't know, I mean, in the sense that you might have so many.
yeah, so the trick here is that you have so many, you know you're full of flaws. Myself is full of flaws. What do? Tawbah. Here, now in this retreat, what we want you to do is do tawbah and be sincere, be humble and rely. That's what you got to do. You know you have these weaknesses. I'm not saying you haven't. No, we've got these weaknesses, yes. Admit it, yes, we have got it. But I can do tawbah of it. I can make a fresh start. I can ask Allah to forgive and cover me, and then hopefully whatever effects of those sins were, to forgive me and protect me for those effects of those sins, but then to help me, assist me in this journey. That's what I can do. And you take this as a new force, a new drive to help you in your journeys afterwards. That's what you do. So if there is then something particular that is actually, sometimes when you, this is what the reason why you need to relate, sometimes there are certain things when you're describing, is signs and telltale signs for the instructor to tell you, listen, I need to have a one-to-one with you. You need to focus. In public we cannot mention it, but in one-to-one to say, there's an issue here, you need to focus on this. If there's something which is major issue which is there that needs focus on, yes, that will also be told as well to you when you are actually practicing exercises, and you'll come up and show this might be the issue. Okay? But do tawbah, inshallah, Aziz, that covers and compensates most of the things, inshallah. Yes?
So first one, if I'm bad from someone else, then would that offend them if I follow Shaykh Ahmad?
No one should, no, it shouldn't offend them. One should take permission, ijazah, from one shaykh, and provided that that person was actually teaching the path to spirituality anyway, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this is, and also find out what was the bayt of. Was it bayt of barakah? Was it bayt of soba? Was it bayt of suluk? There are different types of bayt. What is bayt of tawbah? So you need to know what bayt was it. Was it bayt of tawbah? Then anybody, there should be no offense, because all bayt of tawbah is, I'm making somebody, a pious person in this regard, a pious person as a witness that I've done tawbah. That's what Bayt al-Tawbah is. Bayt al-Soba, I go to a dars of hadith, I go to a dars of Quran, or I go to a dars of a pious and righteous person, and I do bayt because for the duration that I'm there, I do bayt for blessing, that whatever they say they gave, I benefit from it. That's Bayt al-Soba. There's different types of bayt. So Bayt al-Suluk is a thing which is fundamental. There, you can only have one guide. Bayt al-Suluk, i.e. the suluk, the path to spirituality, the path to the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can only have one. And you can do better, and you can follow the instruction of one. It's just having a doctor, you can follow the instruction of one doctor until the prescription is done. Then you can follow someone else. So here is that if the person has done Bayt of Suluk with that guide, then what happens is that if they are traversing and if they're traveling and they wish to experience this, they should seek permission from the shaykh or the guide, and with their blessing then they should actually do this. And if they say no, then there's got to be a reason why. There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason why. Because if the reason why you're coming this way is because it means this is not being offered. So there shouldn't be a conflict then. One is doing something which the shaykh is doing, and he is just telling you to do the awrad and dhikr, that's good. But to supplement that, to actually excel in that, if you do this, it'll further actually, sometimes what happens is that we do have people, brothers and sisters, who have different shaykhs as well. But it's like doing a separate course. You know, when you are doing your job and they tell you, do this course, and it'll further enhance your skills in your job that you're doing. So sometimes it gains more fares and blessings with the shaykh that you're with if you come this way and do this as part of your journey, and it'll excel you even more in your own path. That's what we say. So there's no need to do bayt. What we say in our Tareeqah, our mashayikh, what they say, yes, we take bayt, but there's no, to benefit you don't need to until there comes a point, a certain stage in the journey.
Another question. Is the seeing and believing, in brackets, during the spiritual journey mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah?
Yes, of course. It's full of it. Okay. Allah sometimes even says in the Quran, وَعْبُدُوا رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ, is that worship your ibadah. In fact, Allah sometimes is ordering you and telling me and you through the Quran that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until what? Until you get yaqeen. Until certainty comes upon you. What was Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam doing then? Do you not believe? No, I just want mutma'in, I want yaqeen of heart. So then what happened? Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam was asked to spread the bird that he's got in different pieces, different scattering around, and then Allah subhanahu brought it together. All these things, that is, all of this principle is actually, Allah subhanahu wants you to actually increase yourself in yaqeen, increase yourself in knowledge and yaqeen, and develop your iman to such level that from the hadith where Sayyidina Huzaifa and others were saying is that when I pray, it's as if Jannat is on my right and Jahannam is on my left, and the angel of death is behind me, the sun is above me. It is as if that's the state in reach. But unfortunately, nobody has ever showed us how to do that. One is the Prophet ﷺ is al-ihsan. But what's happening is that, how do I reach that? That's the question that I used to have, is I heard this hadith, how do I do it then? And that is why these paths, the spiritual paths and orders are there, is to help you to achieve that. Okay. Shabir. Yes, Brother Shabir. Sorry, one more question.
In regards to what you mentioned about humbleness, what if, like, say there's two people and one has Allah's blessed them with the ability to do something better than the other person. Now if he gets this thought in his mind that maybe, he gets the thought of, oh, I could do this better, or I can improve. And for example, how would that make him like sinful for thinking like this?
No. This is, understand is that this is also a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you akal and intellect as well. I can do better, provided I don't look down upon him, then it's not sinful. So I can do better. I know that I can do better. You may, if you're such yaqeen that I can do better, no. He said, from what I know, from whatever intellect that I have, from whatever understanding I have, it seems as though I can do better. You shouldn't have full yaqeen on it, by the way. You understand? That yes, I think I can do better. I will try my best. Whatever faculty I have, I can do better. And I don't look down upon him. And then you suggested why? Because we should always try to promote and make the deen easy and accessible for people. And if I believe that I've got a skill, I have a way in which is try to test it, I know it will be better, then you should then exemplify it and show it. There is nothing wrong with that, provided what? I don't look down on the other person. And I use the right means to actually channel my thoughts so that it doesn't disrespect, show any devalue to that person whatsoever. It's not a sin whatsoever. It's not a sin.
One more question.
Sorry, yes.
I think this is a follow-up from the other one. Did the Prophet ﷺ teach companions to do the spiritual journey?
Yes. The Mi'raj is an example itself. The whole of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, the Mi'raj and everything is there. All that is suggesting is that unfortunately we are lacking in understanding of the Hadith and the Quran. So that's why you should sit with the learned and righteous and the pious, and they'll teach you the Quran and Hadith and how to implement that. Yes, it is. Yes, this is taught by the Prophet. That was all of these teachings come from the Prophet ﷺ, indirectly or directly, one way or another. Any other question? No?
Jazakallah khair to Ustad guys. So now, alhamdulillah, there's some special personal time for yourselves now, inshallah, especially those who haven't had enough rest today. Then do try to rest, inshallah, and also offer your Salat al-Asr, depending on which country you are in. But the people in UK, they should offer their Salat al-Asr, as the next session will commence at 8 p.m. UK time, inshallah. So be ready about 5 to 8. So now you have time to rest, or your own personal time, and also to offer your Asr Salah before the commencement of the next session, which will be at 8 p.m. Jazakallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
कोई तो है जो निज़ाम हस्ती चला रहा